Hello YouTube. I'm here with a quick non-professional overview review of the new Sony A90J OLED TV. Now this TV's been getting a lot of flack, a lot of positive reviews, a lot of negative things being said. But right now it's the most sought after TV. But a lot of people think it's too expensive. A lot of people think it doesn't have enough gaming features. There's a lot of things that a lot of people are complaining about regarding the A90J. There's a lot of things a lot of people love regarding the A90J. You know, Sony fanboys, LG fanboys, Samsung fanboys, you name it. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. But anyway, I'm just here to show you a quick overview, my personal overview or review or whatever you want to call it. So I purchased this TV just to hold me off until the 83-inch comes out. The 83-inch will be purchased. I had an LG GX, which was a good TV, but I'm a Sony guy. I always loved Sony TVs. Before the LG GX, I had a Sony A9G. The reason why I got rid of the Sony A9G is because I have a PS5 and the Xbox Series X over there. The Series X is over there in the corner, little blocky thing in the corner. And the PS5 and the A9G did not have any HDMI 2.1 features. So I exchanged the Sony A9G for the LG GX, which had HDMI 2.1 features. Now, I've had Sony TVs all my life. I never had LG TV, so it took some getting used to. And at first I couldn't get used to it, so I went back to the Sony A9G. And then FOMO caught up with me, and I had fear of missing out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this TV for the long haul. This was before the A90J was even announced, so nobody knew what was coming out for Sony. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep this TV for the long haul. Might as well have all the features that I need. I know my wife's going to be mad at me. My wife's mad at me now because of this one, but I know my wife's going to be mad at me back then because I was going back and forth exchanging TVs. But I went from A9G to LG GX, back to A9G because I was so used to Sony. Then out of FOMO, I went back to an LG GX. And I had the LG GX for a while. And then Sony announced this A90J, which is their first OLED with HDMI 2.1 support. So, you know, I had to hop on it. And apparently, A90G also has a new OLED panel from LG Display. LG Display sells their panels to LG Electronics, Panasonic, Sony. In each electronics division of Sony, Panasonic, LG, they create their own panels with their own processing. Their own TVs with their own processing using the panels from LG Display. So LG Display created this new Evo panel, as they call it, Evo. But that's just a LG Electronics marketing term. Sony doesn't call it the Evo, it's just a new panel. It's just a new panel technology. So Sony has this new panel technology in its new 2021 OLED TVs. It's for certain in the A90J. There's uncertainty whether it's in the A80J, and there's also in LG's G1 model. It's not in the C1. But to differentiate itself, Sony also took some pointers from Panasonic and took the aluminum heat sink from Panasonic, the new OLED module display from LG Display. They put those two together and they added their own processing, their new XR processor, and they made the A90G. So when people talk about why is the Sony A90G so expensive? Why is it so expensive? Well, this is Sony's reasoning. One, they have the new panel that everybody's after, this new Evo panel, which is just a new OLED module that LG Display makes. That new panel is only found on this TV, the LG G1, and some think the A80J. I believe it will also be on the new Panasonics, but Panasonics aren't sold in the US. So with that being said, Panasonic's not being sold in the US. Sony knows that. What do? The aluminum heat sink that Panasonic uses to create their OLED TVs with the high brightness. Sony took that heat sink, put it on their TVs. So now they have two things. They have the new OLED module, the newer panel, as they say, and it has the aluminum heat sink from Panasonic. Sony also made a brand new processor. It's XR cognitive processor. Combine all those three things and you get this A90J Master Series display. It also has apparently the best audio you've ever heard on a TV standalone. And that also drives up the price. I wish they made this model without the enhanced audio because I have a Sonos soundbar, Sonos Arc and Sonos Sub. I won't be using the TV sound, but that does drive up the price as well, is the sound. It supposedly has a great sound system. Sound comes from the screen. It has built-in subwoofers, a whole bunch of crap. But it won't be used by a lot of video files. Will not be using the TV's sound. They will buy a sound bar or a home theater sound system. So those are the things: the excellent sound, 1, the newer panel, 2, the aluminum heatsink, 3, and Sony's new XR cognitive processor. That's 4. Those are the things that are driving the price up on the Sony A90J. The LG G1 does not have an aluminum heatsink on it. So Sony is able to drive the panel harder because it has the heatsink. So it can get hotter, dissipate more heat. The A80J does not have the aluminum heatsink. The Panasonics that do have the aluminum heatsink in the new panel will not be sold in the USA. The Panasonics are not sold here as of now. It may change in the future. So right now, this A90J is a one-of-a-kind TV. It's the only TV that you can purchase in the USA right now, at this moment, currently, that has the new LG panel, the aluminum heatsink, premium audio, and the new Sony processor. That's why it costs so much money. Until there's another competitor that has the aluminum heatsink, they'll keep their price high. Now, some people say, well, it doesn't have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. It only has 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. That's another issue. That is because of Sony outsources all their parts. Like they outsource their aluminum heat sinks, they outsource the display panel, they also outsource the SoC, which is a MediaTek chip. MediaTek makes those chips. MediaTek has not made a chip that has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports yet. Sony's still waiting on them to make that chip. Apparently, they say 2022, MediaTek will have a chip that will be able to produce 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, and that will be on the new Sony, but we have yet to see that. But everybody that's complaining, blame it on MediaTek. You can also blame it on Sony because they could create their own chip or outsource it somewhere else, but I guess they have a deal with MediaTek. So they're just waiting on them to create their new chip that has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, full VRR, and all that good stuff. But as of right now, this A90J is the first Sony OLED that does 4K 120. You can only use it on 2 ports, number 4 and HDMI 3. HDMI 3 is eARC though. So if you have a soundbar like me that requires eARC, HDMI 3 will be taken up by the soundbar. So now that leaves me with 1 HDMI 2.1 port to use for my PS5 and my Xbox Series X. So each time I want to pay the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, I will have to unplug it out of HDMI 4 and plug in the other one. That's the downfall of this TV. A lot of people are getting on Sony because of that. A lot of people are destroying this TV because of that. But the question is, it's up to you. What would you rather have? Would you rather have the best picture quality that could be found on an OLED display in the USA, plus be able to play your games HDMI 2.1? You just have to swap out the cable in the back. Or would you rather have a TV that has good enough picture quality, not as good as this TV, but good enough, but also has all 4 HDMI points and has more gaming features, more gaming support? So it's all about what you feel is important to you. Are you more of a gamer or are you more of a movie watcher? If you're a little bit of both, like me, I'm a casual gamer, but I watch more TV, more movies, more film than I do video games, play video games. I play when I can in the evenings or on the weekend. I have a little kid. I have a 1-year-old running around here. I'm tired. I work a lot. I work 6 days a week. My wife be on the TV. It's hard for me to get on the TV and get downtime and play the game. It's very hard. I do what I can on the weekends. I barely do it on a weeknight evening, so I don't game as much as I want to. But I'm gonna try to change that. We'll see. I doubt it because I got another kid on the way, so we'll see about that. But anyway, I'm more of a videophile, and I like movies, and I wanted the best picture quality. Plus, I love Sony. I'm used to their UI. I'm used to Sony. I've had it since big box CRTs, LCD TVs. I've always had a Sony. They make great TVs. Sony's make video cameras. They make lenses. They make movies. They have a movie studio. Sony has a movie studio that makes movies that use their Sony movie cameras. Sony has this new streaming service called Bravia Core that's full of Sony movies made using Sony cameras in IMAX. This is a Sony TV, so you're watching a Sony movie made with a Sony camera on a Sony TV. These guys know what they're doing. They do this. This is what they do. LG is a jack of all trades, master of none. I have an LG dishwasher, LG refrigerator, or Samsung, LG Samsung. It's the same thing to me, the two Korean places. I have an LG dishwasher, LG refrigerator. You get an LG anything. Sony is an audio-visual company. Sony makes TVs, video cameras, sound equipment. You know, it's an AV company. While LG is an electronics company. They do everything. Refrigerators, TVs, washing machines, cell phones, you name it. You name it, if it's electronic, LG makes it. Sony doesn't. Sony's a smaller company. LG sells millions of OLED TVs a year. Sony doesn't. Sony only sells hundreds of thousands, and if that, worldwide. So they can discern and be a little bit more, discerning with their product. They know they have a niche product, and they know not a lot of people will buy this product. They have lower end models that are more affordable. But let's get into the TV, because all the stuff I'm talking about, I'm ranting. A lot of you guys already know this. A lot of you guys watch all of these great YouTubers such as HD TV Test, Whisper Status, Quantum TV, Be the Installer. Who else is there? Digital Trends. There's a lot of people out there. I'm having a brain fart trying to name everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. I watch all those guys too. I watch everybody. My main go-to is, of course, HD TV Test, as everybody loves that guy. But yeah, Whisper Status is cool. Everybody. BD Install is cool. Everybody's cool. I watch Digital Trends. I watch everybody. If you're into AV and you into TVs and stuff like that, I've watched your channel. I'm probably subscribed to your channel and I watch your stuff. If I'm not subscribed, trust me, I watch your stuff a lot. You get a lot of views from me. I just can't name everybody off top of right now because it's late, I'm tired, and I'm just rambling. But let's get into the TV. Okay, so this is the new Google TV setup. It's pretty neat. I like it better than the old one. It looks it looks well put together compared to Android TV that it used to have. Oh, there he goes right there. HD TV Test. Talking about the Panasonic, which is not available here. So it gives you a lot of suggestions. It even suggests stuff that has no business being in my suggestions. but it suggests everything. And the exposure of this camera, I'm sorry, it's not picking up the way it should, but it looks kind of like some blooming, but there's no blooming. Anyway, let's get into the TV. So we're gonna go to the YouTube app. Alrighty, so let's look at some demos. As you can see, this is all I look at is freaking TV stuff. Marquise Brownlee's demand. FOMO, we all know FOMO. Alright, let's look at which one shall we look at? Let's look at his newest. Well, gotta playing the ad. Don't want to get any copyright type things, you know, from these ads, but you have no choice. Now I'm gonna go through the picture settings here. I don't know if you guys are catching. It's hard. It's bad. It's hard to capture detail on a phone. But let me just show you guys my settings. Oh, I'm in the wrong picture mode. Right now we're in HDR, so I'm gonna put it in cinema. Ambient light sensor is off. Here's one of the new options, the ambient light sensor. Inside ambient light sensors, you have adjust luminance level, adjust tone curve, and adjust white balance. You can have those on or off. You could turn them on individually. So I'm gonna turn these off. Because I don't want it darkening or lightening up. But before it was just ambient light sensor. Now it goes even deeper. This is with the new XR processor. You have auto luminance level, auto tone curve, and auto white balance. Right now I'm gonna have all those off. Brightness, it's HDR, so that's max. Contrast is max. Gamma's at 0. HDR tone mapping, this is also new. There's gradation preferred. And then there's brightness preferred. To get that nice peak brightness that everybody's raving after, you get it best when you put it on brightness preferred and HDR tone mapping. So we're gonna put brightness preferred on. I could just leave that off. Fast contrast enhancer. I'm gonna put that on high because we are in HDR and we wanna see how bright this thing can get. Peak luminance is on high. Color temperature is warm. Expert 1 is the most accurate color temperature. It's kind of yellow for me, so I like warm. I'm gonna turn live color to high. Reality creation's on auto. Noise reduction's off. Smooth gradation's off. The smooth gradation on this TV is excellent compared to every other OLED I've ever had in my life. You don't even need the smooth gradation feature on here because there's no banding whatsoever. In motion, we have motion flow on to. I like it on to. You see the suggested, you see that little notch over there? That's Sony's suggestion, what they suggest you keep it on. And that's the way I like it on to. clearness, I leave that off. That's black frame insertion, I leave that off. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, so let's go to something else. Let's look at this.
And she has a gift.
Mary commands you to walk.
Go into settings. Why is that off? Why was that on? I turned it off. Anyway. Gradation preferred. Brightness preferred. Brightness preferred. Gradation preferred. Oh, that's off. Gradation preferred. Brightness preferred. Brightness preferred. Gradation preferred. Off. When you turn it off, you lose all that brightness. Gradation. Brightness. Peak luminance high. Max contrast enhancer high. Color temperature is on high, color temperature is warm. So right now this is on gradation preferred. I have it on cinema mode because that's not the most accurate mode. It's one of the most accurate modes. Custom is actually the most accurate mode, but cinema is also good. Cinema is kind of brighter, and I personally prefer cinema. Gradation preferred. Brightness preferred. Now let's get out of here. We're gonna go to Netflix and look at some. Well, let me show you Bravia Core real quick. Bravia Core is their new streaming service. Watching out, come on. iPhone. This is an iPhone camera. I'm sorry, this is not a professional camera. iPhone camera. Doing the best it could do. All right. So when you go to Bravia Core, they have these movies that you can redeem. You get 10 free movies to redeem. Some good, some bad. But just to show you an example, they have unlimited streaming. These are movies you can stream unlimitedly. Movies to redeem. These are movies that you can redeem your 10 credits. They have it in IMAX DTS is the best you'll get. No Dolby Atmos on Bravia Core. DTS is the best audio that they have in Bravia Core. And that sucks because my Sonos Arc doesn't do DTS. Bloodshots in IMAX DTS. Monster Hunter, new, is only in HD, not in IMAX. Experience IMAX Enhanced. These are the movies that they have in IMAX Enhanced for free that you can watch. And that's the Bravia Core streaming service. Let me get on with this because it's going on 30 minutes. Time flies. Okay. So let's go to, what does everybody watch? Let's go to Netflix. Look at the depth. This is SDR, y'all. SDR. Look at the brightness and the depth on this thing. Look at that. Look at that. This is Dolby Vision, folks. Slide of depth, how natural the hair looks. Looks like you're looking through a window. No, it looks like you're looking through an open window, not a closed window. With the LG GX I had and the A9G, it looked like you was looking through a closed window. With this, it looks like you're looking through an open window, if that makes any sense.